Long ago in China, there lived a stone carver named
Chan Lo.
Chan Lo spent his days carving birds and deer and water buffalo from the colored stones he found near the river.
His young apprentice asked,
"How do you know what to carve?"
I always listen to the stone.
replied Chan Lo.
The stone tells me what it wants to be.
People came from near and far to buy Chan Lo's carvings. And so it happened that when the great emperor of all China was given a perfect piece of green and white jade stone, one of the advisors in the celestial palace thought of
Chan Lo.
The humble stone carver was brought before the great emperor of all of China. Chan Lo bowed deeply.
I want you to carve a dragon.
The emperor commanded.
A dragon of wind and fire.
I will do my best to please you.
The emperor's men carried the precious stone to Chan Lo's garden. Chan Lo had never seen such a perfect piece of jade. The green and white of the stone was like moss entangled in snow.
The great emperor had commanded a dragon of wind and fire. Chan Lo wondered if that was what the stone wanted to be. He spoke to it.
Here I stand, O noble stone, to carve a creature of your own. Whisper signs and sounds from rock that I, your servant, may unlock.
Chan Lo bent down and put his ear to the stone. From deep inside came a gentle sound.
Pata, pata, pata.
Do dragons make that sound?
Chan Lo wondered.
Perhaps the dragon's tail splashing in the ocean says, Pa-ta, pa-ta.
But he was not sure.
That evening, Chan Lo thought about dragons. But late at night, in his dreams, he heard,
Pata, pata.
The next morning, Chan Lo went to the garden. The stone was spring water green in the morning light.
Here I stand, O noble stone, to carve a creature of your own. Whisper signs and sounds from rock, that I, your servant, may unlock.
Chan Lo put his ear to the green and white jade and listened. Softly the sounds came.
Bub, bub, bubble. Bub, bub, bubble.
Do dragons make that sound?
Chan Lo asked himself.
Perhaps a dragon rising from the wild waves blows bubbles through his nostrils.
But these were not mighty dragon bubbles that were coming from the rock. They were gentle, lazy, playful sounds.
That evening, Chan Lo tried again to think about dragons. But when he went to bed, he heard in his dreams the sound of
Bub, bub, bubble. Bub, bub, bubble. Bub, bub, bubble.
In the middle of the night, Chan Lo awoke. He walked into the moonlit garden. The stone shone silvery green in the moonlight.
Here I stand, O noble stone, to carve a creature of your own. Whisper signs and sounds from rock, that I, your servant, may unlock.
He put his ear to the stone. Silence. Chan Lo ran his hands over the jade. His fingers felt tiny ridges, and the ridges made a sound.
Do dragons have ridges?
Chan Lo pondered.
Yes. They have scales on their tails and bodies, and their scales might say, if one dared to touch them.
But Chan Lo knew These small, delicate ridges were not dragon scales.
Chan Lo could not carve what he did not hear, but he was afraid to disobey the emperor. His fear weighed in him like a great stone as he picked up his tools and began to carve.
Chan Lo worked slowly and carefully for a year and a day. Finally, the carving was complete.
Early in the morning, before the birds were awake, Chan Lo and his apprentice wrapped the jade carving in a cloth and set out for the celestial palace. Chan Lo entered the great hall, where the three advisers sat waiting for the great emperor of all China. He placed the jade stone on the table in the center of the room.
Soon the emperor's advisers grew curious. They scurried to the jade stone and peeked under the cloth.
No dragon?
No dragon! No dragon!
At that moment, the emperor himself entered the great hall.
Show me my dragon of wind and fire.
The advisers whisked the cloth away.
This is not my dragon!
Punish him!
Punish him! Punish him!
Chan Lo's knees shook like ginkgo leaves in the wind.
O mighty emperor, there is no dragon of wind and fire. I did not hear it. I heard these 3 carpfish swimming playfully in the reeds in the pool of the celestial palace.
Hear them? Do you not hear them?
Chop off his head.
Boil him in oil. Cut him in 1,000 pieces.
But the emperor was so angry he could not decide which punishment to choose.
I will let my dreams decide this punishment now. Take him away and remove that stone from the celestial palace.
Chan Lo was dragged down many flights of stairs and thrown into a black prison cell. The carving was placed outside, near the reeds of the reflecting pool.
That evening, the emperor thought about dragons. But late that night, in his sleep, the emperor dreamed of fish playfully slapping their tails in the green water.
Pata, pata, pata.
In the morning, the emperor's advisers asked,
What punishment have you chosen?
but the emperor said,
My dreams have not yet decided.
That evening, the emperor again tried to think about dragons. But when he went to bed, the emperor dreamed of fish gliding smoothly through the deep, clear water.
Bub, bub, bubble. Bub, bub, bubble. Bub, bub, bubble.
In the morning, the emperor's advisers again asked him,
What punishment have your dreams chosen?
but the emperor told them,
My dreams have still not decided.
On the third night, the emperor groaned and tossed in his sleep, but he did not dream. He awoke in the darkest hour of the night. A strange sound filled the room.
The emperor got out of bed and went toward the sound. He hurried down the corridors, through the great hall, and out into the moonlit garden. There, by the reflecting pool, was the jade stone. Next to it stood the apprentice, running his fingers down the scales of the 3 carpfish.
When the apprentice had gone, the emperor sat near the pool and gazed at the jade stone. The shining scales of the jade carp glowed in the moonlight. The fish's slippery bodies were reflected in the pool. They seemed ready to flick their tails and swim among the reeds. The emperor remained by the pool until his advisers found him at sunrise.
What punishment has your dreams chosen? Bring Chan Lo before me.
Chan Lo bowed deeply before the great emperor of all China, ready to receive his terrible punishment.
You have disobeyed me, Chan Lo, but you are a brave man to defy the great emperor of all of China. You have carved the creatures that were in the stone. I, too, have heard them. These 3 carpfish are dearer to me than any dragon of wind and fire. What reward would you have?
Great emperor, your happiness with my work is my reward. I wish only to return to my village and carve what I hear.
You will carve what you hear, and you will return to your village in great honor, as befits the master carver to the great emperor of all of China.